So now, as I said, current is nothing but the charge flowing through a circuit. But in which direction these charges flow? Because since we have two terminals, a positive terminal and negative terminal, so whether the current flows from positive terminal to negative terminal, or the current flows from negative terminal to positive terminal. So how do we know that on which direction this current will actually flow in a circuit? Now, there are a lot of different opinions on this direction of electric current in a circuit. So, first, we'll talk about something which is termed as electronics current. So, what is this? Now, as per the concept of electronic current, it says the particles. Now, the first question that comes is, what are these charges which are flowing, which constitutes current? The charges which are constituting current, what are these charges? Now, in most of the metals, these charges are nothing but electrons. And you all know that electrons are negatively charged, extremely tiny particles. They are present inside an atom. And these electrons are mobile. That is, they can move. So, when we talk about electronic current, we say that the electrons which are mobile. So, these mobile electrons act as charge carriers. So, they are actually carrying the charge. These are the charged particles. So, in this case, what we are basically trying to say is the negatively charged particles are the charges which are flowing, and because of their movement, current is being formed. So, this type of current is termed as electronic current. Now, if you look at the circuit carefully, so what do you see? This is the positive terminal, and this is the negative terminal of battery. So in this case, electrons are negatively charged particles. In which direction will these electrons flow? So the electrons being negatively charged particles, they will start flowing from the negative terminal, right? Because the negative terminal is negatively charged. So it has ample of negatively charged particles, electrons. So the electrons will flow in this direction. That is, once the circuit gets completed, this is how the electrons will flow. So this is the direction of flow of electrons, flow of current, I. Now, as per if you talk about electronic current, it says that since in most of the metals, electrons are negatively charged particle, and those are the charge carriers. So therefore, the charges are moving from negative terminal to positive terminal, from negative to positive terminal, right? Because charge carriers are the electrons. So this is the direction of electronic current. So that is why the current was termed as electronic current, because here it was considered that electrons being mobile are the charge carriers. However, it's not necessary that in all objects electrons act as charge carriers. In many other circuits, even the positively charged particles also act as charge carriers. In fact, there are certain cases where both positively charged particles as well as negatively charged particles act as charge carriers. So, when you learn about semiconductors in wire classes, you will learn about positive and negative charge carriers. So, now, this is the concept of electronic current, which says that if electrons are negatively charged carriers, they should move from negative to positive terminal of the external circuit. Now, there is another sort of convention which is followed, that is conventional current. What is this? This is the direction of flow of current as per the convention. Now, who started this convention? Somewhere around 1750s, there was a scientist named Ben Franklin. He performed quite a few experiments on static as well as current electricity, and he considered positive charges are the charge carriers. So, as per Ben Franklin, it was not electrons, rather, the positive charges are charge carriers. So, that means, as per Franklin, whichever direction the positive charges are flowing, that should be the direction of electric current. So, he stated that the current direction should be the direction in which the positive charges are moving in the external circuit. Now, looking at the circuit, what would be the direction of positive charges? Obviously, it's going to be opposite of that electrons. In electrons, it was from negative to positive, but in case of conventional current, it's from positive to negative. That means this would be the direction of charges, right? So the positive charge would move in this direction. So this would be the direction of positive charge. Now, as per Franklin, this should be the direction of current. So current should flow from positive terminal towards the negative terminal through the external circuit. So now, since this was kind of convention which was set by long back by Franklin, so this current is termed as conventional current. So now, what do you conclude from both discussions? On one hand, you have electronic current, which says that current flows from negative to positive terminal. On the other hand, you have something called conventional current, which says that current flows from positive to negative terminal. So now, since conventional current is like a convention which is followed since years, and also there is no concept that electrons are carriers. That is also not a proven fact, because in substances, electrons are charge carriers. In some substances, positive charges are also charge carriers. So none of them are like, yes, this is true. We cannot say that. In some cases, positive charges are charge carriers. In some cases, negative charges are charge carriers. So what was done in order to avoid confusion? The conventional current direction was followed so that everybody will be on the same page. Otherwise, what would happen? Some people are doing their assumptions, their experiments, calculations considering the direction of electronic current. Some people are doing it considering conventional current. So that is going to create a lot of confusion. That is why a standard was set, and that standard was that the direction of electric current is going to be the direction of conventional current. So the convention which was given by Ben Franklin was followed, and we say that electric current flows from positive terminal of battery towards the negative terminal of battery through the external circuit. Now, many people get confused. So now, even though current as a physical quantity is a scalar quantity, which is determined only by its magnitude, but we talk about the direction in which the current is flowing only when we are talking about an electric circuit where a current is flowing. So we wanted to know that from which terminal to which terminal is the current flowing. So I think with this it's clear that we always follow the direction of conventional current, that is from positive to negative terminal of the external circuit. This is the direction of current.